G'day folks, Wren here, and it is time for my September TBRGate with a side of Bookoplathon. Okay, so September is a really busy month. There are so many readathons happening, and in the end of the day I decided I'm just gonna go for 4, I think. So much to do, so little time. Before I get into that, I should tell you what happened in August. For my August TBRGate, I actually did pretty well. I'm kind of surprised. So I had to read Breathing Count back from 10 for a book with a number in the title. I actually ended up DNFing this. There was nothing particularly wrong with it. It just really wasn't what I was in the mood for at the time. And I got a decent amount of the way through and I was like, I need to put this down. It's not my vibe right now. I do count DNFs because at least I have given the book a go. So I count DNFs towards my TBRGate, so we're going to consider that one completed. Then I had to read My Hero Academia Volume 4 for the competition prompt, and I did read this and I gave it 5 stars. Then for cultural diversity, I had to read Alatsaway. Now I got about 20% of the way through this and then I had to return it to the library. I'm still interested in reading it. As soon as I returned it, I immediately put a hold on it. So I think I'm getting it again in September. So I'm just considering this as like a roll-on. So I started it, I didn't finish it, but I will be finishing it in September, hopefully. So again, I'm going to count this as completed because I did start it before the month ended. I just didn't get to finish it. My game, my rules type situation here. Then I read The Chain for a new to you author and I gave this 4 stars. It was a good time. Then for emotional, I had to read Forever, and this was really like last minute reading. I just finished this last night and I'm filming this on the day that I have to post it. It's been a crazy time. So I was really like down to the wire getting Forever finished. I counted it, I had a good time, gave it 4 stars. Then for nighttime themes, I had Conspiracy of Ravens and I gave this 3 stars. It was fine. For the last glyph to complete our gate address for August, I had to read a contemporary, and for that I read Blue Flag Volume 1 and I gave that 4 stars. It was good. So that being said, I have no hive ships that I need to place onto the board and I get a ZPM. So that's very fun. So for September, there's a lot happening. Apart from there's several readathons that are happening, I am also still doing the Indigenous Reading Circle. So the pick for September is Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. This I'm really interested in because if you know me, I love wolves. There's one right behind me. And this has like a kind of a wolf type creature on it. It seems to kind of hint towards werewolves, but I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. There's this kid living with their aunt and uncle and they live a really rough life. They're on like the outskirts of society and it seems to kind of be like a coming of age where the aunt and uncle are like waiting to see if this kid is like them. So I assume that means a werewolf, so we'll see. I am pretty excited for that, so hopefully I can get that onto one of these TBRs. That would be good. I'm also going to be taking a part in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone read-along, which is hosted by Barb's Bookland and Bookishly Shell. They mentioned this on a live that Barb did a couple weeks ago, and I was immediately like, please can I read along with you, because I've had this on my shelves for like 3 years. And I don't mean like just this book, I've had the trilogy on my shelves for 3 years and I never pick it up. But I also never unhaul it because I'm like, it sounds like it could be fun. So I'm finally going to get to this first book at least in September for that read along. I really don't know what this is about. Everyone mentions that there's some kind of like bargain in a way, and it has to do with teeth? I don't know. So it's set in Prague, and Karou is an errand girl to a monstrous creature who is the closest thing she has to family. Buying teeth from hunters and murderers. It sounds interesting enough that I'm going to give it a go. So hopefully I can get this one on the TBR as well. So for the readathons this month, we have, of course, Bookoplathon, hosted by Becca and the Books. It's a month-long readathon. This is the board. It's a fun time. Then we have SeasonAthonAcademy, which I'm really excited for. So Seasonathon has been happening for a while now, but this month they are doing an academy version. So you have classes that you have to, well, not have to, but you have classes that you have to get to and read the prompts to fulfill the class credits. So that sounds like such a fun time, so I'm really looking forward to that one as well. Then we have WaywardSonAthon, which is a supernatural themed readathon, and this month there is a bingo board that you can complete, and that is running from the 12th to the 18th of September. Now I love Supernatural, it's one of my favourite shows of all time, so I'm really excited to participate in this one. And then we have Roll The Rainbowthon, which is also happening from the 12th to the 18th, and that is just a fun time with colours. This is based off Christie's TBR game, and so this is going to be really fun. I decided that I'm just going to go for the colours and not whatever the prompts were, because as you will see, there is lots of books happening. So there's lots happening this month, so let's just get straight into the TBRGate spins. So last month we ended on Rohi, so we're going to start on Rohi again. I have a ZPM. I'm just going to leave the ZPM there until I need it. Spin number 1. Landed on 6. Ooh, okay, so that landed on Avinov. The episode is the Daedalus variation, so that means I'm picking from my skull jar. First spin, we landed on Avinov, which is the episode the Daedalus variant, and the prompt for that one is skull pick. Now this is a little random, but this is a skull that I have, and it's a jar, and in this is a whole bunch of paper. So in this I have every book that is on my TBR. All of my owned TBR is in this jar, with a caveat to that. This is just everything that I had at the beginning of 2022. I haven't put any of the new books that I've bought this year in this jar, and I'm not going to because I need to get to my backlist. So we're going to pick a book from here, and I'm kind of terrified. But the reason Skull Pick was chosen for this episode, because this episode is a wild time of just things happening really willy-nilly, and they're jumping through dimensions and they have no control over it, and I have no control over this. So let's dive right in. I am terrified. Oh. I got two. Let's go with this one. Oh gosh, I'm scared. Oh, is that upside down? Is that Vampire Academy? Okay. Vampire Academy. Fun. Damn it! Alright. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. Oh no! I don't know how I feel about this, because I have wanted to read this just for, like, I want to say nostalgia reasons, but I never read this before, so I don't know why it's nostalgic, but I guess like those vampire feels of what was happening in the early 2010s. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, I can't get an audiobook for this, so that's the only reason why I'm kind of hesitant about it. So we have a mortal vampire with a rare gift for harnessing the Earth's magic. What? After 2 years of freedom, these two girls are brought to this vampire academy for vampire royalty. Okay. This definitely sounds early 2010s. It could be a fun time. 7. That landed on Gilton. The episode is The Defiant One of my favourites. And that prompt is a standalone. So for spin number 2, we landed on Gilton, which the episode for that is The Defiant One of my favourite episodes of all time. I love the whole, we're stuck and something's happening. If you know of any books like that, please let me know, because it's all I want to read lately. So the prompt for that is standalone, because they're all on their lonesome. So for this, I decided to go for Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've had this on my shelves for a while now, and I really need to get to some of the books I actually own. And I'm really interested to read this one because it is told in verse. I think this is about two sisters meeting each other. So one sister is in the Dominican Republic and one is in New York City. Then the father dies and they meet each other. So I don't know, it could be a good time. I like that it's going to be a quick read, and I do like Elizabeth Acevedo's writing. Okay, spin number 3. 10. Okay, so that one landed on Olavi. Ooh, and that episode is Grace Under Pressure. Another one that's a good time. And that prompt is water themes. For spin number 3, we have Olavi, which the episode is Grace Under Pressure. Such a good episode. Once again, someone's stuck and things are happening. I have a theme. So in Grace Under Pressure, Rodney is in a submerged puddle jumper and the water is rising. So obviously the prompt for that is water themes. This was a bit of a struggle for me this month, but I managed to find this. This is Deathbed by Joshua Williamson, Riley Rosmo, and Ivan Placencia? I don't know. But this is just a quick comic, very short. My friend Max recommended it to me because he read it recently and he was like, this is my dad, because their dad is just, has done everything. And that's kind of what this feels like. So this is about this guy who's on his deathbed and something is trying to like erase his story. So he tells his life story to this person and then you kind of see what his life was. And his life was a wild time. Now the reason I chose this for water themes is I had to flick through it and there is a bunch of, I'm trying to find one that's not super not good to see. Okay, there's some water there, but there's also just, there is a lot of water in here and I really can't show you much because this is an explicit. Okay, there we go, there's some water. They're underwater, but there's a lot of water stuff in this and there's something about mind controlling jellyfish. I don't know, but it sounds fun and it's going to be really quick, and I do like the art and the colors and it looks really messed up too. Like, it's going to be an interesting time, so I'm very keen to read this. Spin number 4. Got an 8. Ooh, so we landed on a chevron. Okay. Just do a quick shuffle. Ooh, some of them got turned upside down. Okay. Oh, we got Collier. We got Acustus Collier. And then we landed on a chevron. So this is always fun to pick out a character card. So this time we got Acustus Collier, who is a bad guy. Collier is kind of John's nemesis in a way. They have this long-standing rivalry thing going on. He's a bad guy, and so the 3 prompts that were on this were there be problems, because here's a problem. The prompt for that is previously DNF'd. Then we have the old days, which is historical, because the Janai kind of had this old historical feel to them. And then the last prompt possible is another entitled white guy, because he's a white guy. And the prompt for that is male author. Now for this one, I did go the easy route and I just picked male author. So for that, we're going to be reading The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. So this is the second book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I read The Fellowship of the Ring last month and it was such a good time. Highly recommend the audiobook read by Andy Serkis. It's amazing. He does such a good job. So I'm really, really keen to continue on with this one. This is a different cover from the book that I was reading because I have several editions of The Lord of the Rings. But there is a reason I chose this edition, which you will see later on. But we all know what Lord of the Rings is about. It's about a magical ring that needs to be destroyed because it's evil. Spin number 4 again. 3. Alright, so we've got Dawnry and the episode is Duet, and this is my favourite prompt because it is LGBTQIA+ rep. For spin number 4, we have Dawnry, and the episode for that is Duet, and this is my favourite space to land on because the prompt that I chose for this was LGBTQIA+. The only reason I put this prompt with this episode is because there is a male-male kiss in this episode. For this prompt, I decided to go with Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I think this has, pretty sure this is, it has ace representation, so asexuality, somewhere on the ace spectrum. I don't know much about this. I think this is about like a podcast, people maybe, and just finding yourself and typical Alice Oseman amazing characters and writers. I don't know, the thing you can always count on with Alice Oseman is like good friendships and a lot of kind of heartbreaking moments, but they're dealt with in very realistic ways. But you know, there's healing, friendship. We've got Ace Rep in here. We have Aled, who was in the Heartstopper graphic novels. So Aled gets a bit more of their own storyline in here. I don't know, I'm really not good at describing books, but I'm gonna read this. Okay. Spin number 5. 8. Another chevron. Okay. Looks like I'm reading a lot this month. Let's do another. Oh, that's. Okay, we'll go with this one. Yes, Daniel Jackson is my favorite character. And then we landed on another chevron pick. So for this one, I pulled Daniel Jackson, who is my favorite character of all time. Oof, it's kind of the reason I became an archaeologist. So for Daniel Jackson's prompts, we have Bisexual Mess, which is me. The prompt for that is pretty cover because, I mean, Daniel Jackson is gorgeous. And we have the OG because Daniel Jackson is part of the OG Stargate series. So the prompt for that is TBR Vet. And then the last prompt here is It's Queer in the Fandom. And so that obviously is an LGBTQIA+ rep book. It's queer in the fandom because, hello, he is queer in the fandom. So for this one, I decided to actually pick Bisexual Mess. So I went for a beautiful cover. Now for this, I have this book on my Kindle, so I'll put a picture here, but it is Skin by Avita Weiss. I don't know too much about it, except I'm thinking like it's like monster romance, but it's queer. And that's kind of all I need to know about it. It's super, super short, but the cover I really, really like. Okay, so spin number 5 again. 6. Alright, was a good thing we landed on Axel. This is perfect timing because the episode is Echoes, so that means spooky vibes, which is exactly what I'm in the mood for. Okay, for spin number 5 we have Axel, and the episode for that is Echoes. Echoes is a good time and very much in picking with the vibe I'm in at the moment, because the prompt for that is spooky. All I want to read is like spooky horror lately. And this one isn't technically horror, the book that I picked, but it's kind of spooky and it's short and I just want to read it because it's going to take me half an hour maybe. But that is Creepy Cat Volume 2 by Cotton Vallon. I read this first volume last month or the month before, and it's just fun because there's not much text on a page, and it's just this girl in her house and this like demonic cat, but like it's still like a fun time cat. It's not like an evil cat, but it like multiplies itself, it flies, it goes through walls, it does some wild things, and like it's just fun. And this is so quick to read. There's not much of like an overarching plot, but sometimes there is, but it's fun and cute and really quick to read. So I'm excited to get to this. Okay, spin number 6. 5. You're kidding. Oh my gosh, okay. Another chevron. Okay, we'll go with this one. Hey, Hermione. Okay. Okay, and then we landed on another chevron pick. We've got so many this month. So for this one, I picked up Hermioid, which is fun because he's an alien. We have an actual alien because he's a little grey guy. And for that, the prompt is adult sci-fi. Then we have technician because that's basically what Hermione does. He kind of is the only one that can really deal with the Daedalus ship. So, technician. And for that we have ebook. And then we have older than dirt because the Asgard are like the original alien race. They're very old. And for that we have classic. Now for this one I went with ebook, kind of taking the easy route again, but I need it. I picked Just the Two of Us by Carrie Green, and this is again a book that is on my Kindle. I don't know much about this. It's again very short, and it seems to be just two friends go on a vacation together and maybe fall for each other. I'm pretty sure it's queer, because that's probably the only reason I got it, because it's queer of some kind. I'm trying to get through some of my Kindle books because I have way too many. We're talking in the 200s that I haven't read, so good thing that I got ebook. Roll number 6 again. 11. Hey! Alright, that's awesome. That's a free space. And then for spin number 6, I landed on the free space, which is awesome. I've actually never landed on the free space before, so this was a wild time. And I really didn't know what I wanted to pick for free pick, but in the end I'll go for another thing that's short. So we're going to go for Soul Eater Volume 13 by Atsushi Okubo. You should know by now, I'm obsessed with this series. It is everything. So good. The most Halloween vibes of anything I've ever read. There is Lord Death, who runs a school for weapons and meisters, and the weapons are people that can turn into weapons, like Tsubaki here, and then we have the meisters, who are humans that can control the weapons, like Blackstar here. And it's just them fighting evil, learning how to make their weapons strong, and it's got such found family vibes, and it's just great, and I love it, and I'm gonna read this one. Alright, hopefully our very last spin to complete our address. 5. Alright, so we ended on Cibron, which the episode is Harmony. So unfortunately, that means I have to read a middle grade or a YA fantasy, which I'm not in the mood for. For our 7th and final glyph for our gate address, we landed on Cibron, and the episode for that is Harmony. Not exactly one of my favorites, but it's a fun time. There's a lot of John and Rodney content, so that's always fun. But the prompt for that is middle grade or YA fantasy. Now, I wasn't really keen for this because I'm not feeling fantasy at all lately, but luckily I have a read-along happening, so really good timing that I can put Daughter of Smoke and Bone on this TBR. So that was all of my TBRGate picks. Now I'm going to go straight on to the Bookoplathon picks. Alright, time for Bookoploy. On my community shelf cards, I've just got some of the prompts from the board that I really like. And then for my chance cards, I just have different lists that I've made this year to help choose my books. So, yeah. Right, I'm going to do 5 rolls, I think. So, roll number 1. So 9. Landed on pattern and text. The first one, we landed on pattern and text. So for that, I decided to do just the 2 of us because it is just text and some flowers. Roll number 2. Got another 9. Community shelf. Okay, I did shuffle these earlier. Color wheel. Oh, that's fun. Awesome. Roll number 2, we landed on community shelf. For the community shelf cards, I just wrote in a bunch of the prompts from the board that I really liked, and I just wanted like a second chance to be able to get some of them. So for this one, I landed on color wheel, which is very exciting. So I'm going to pull up my color wheel. Alright, so I've got my color wheel here. Let's see if we can do it. Blue. Blue. Oh, what's blue that I already have on my TBR so I don't have to add another book? Oh no. You know what, I'm going to be really sneaky and put Soul Eater on for blue because the little soul emblem is blue and there's some blue on the weapon, and I just really need to put short things on my TBR this month and not have too many books. So, going with Soul Eater. Thank you, Color Wheel, for being nice to me. Roll number 3. 10. Okay, it's hard to see, but that landed on features a mystery. Then roll number 3, we landed on features a mystery. Now this was really hard for me because with everything I wanted to read this month, not much of it is a mystery, and I really don't want to put anything more on my TBR than already is on there. So it was a bit of a struggle, but I might be stretching it a little bit, but I'm going to go with Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1 by Gigi Akutami? Probably butchering that as well. I mean, there's like occult stuff, so does that count as a mystery? And they're trying to figure out spells and stuff? Is that a mystery? I don't know. I just really wanted to put this on, and I don't know much about it, so that could also be a mystery. I don't know. But the way this is described is that it's like Naruto, but for the occult. I've never read or watched Naruto, but my friend Max really loves this, and he wants me to give it a go, and it sounds like something I would like. I love anything to do with the occult, so this should be a good time. Alright, roll number 4. 6. another community shelf. Okay. Alright. Favorite trope. Awesome. Then for our fourth roll, we landed on community shelf again, and the prompt for that one was favorite trope. Now I've got a couple favorite tropes. I guess kind of my number one is fake dating, but then basically also coming in at number one is found family. So for the found family part of it, I decided to put radio silence on here because Alice Oseman does found families really well in a very like understated way. So I'm sure there's going to be found family vibes in here, and I also found it on a Goodreads found family list, so found family. Last roll. 8. Oh, we landed on lowest rated. Then for our fifth and final spin, really lucky we didn't land on any doubles, we landed on lowest rated, which is kind of scary. But I found one. The book I found is a 2.0 star rating. It's the lowest thing I think I've ever wanted to read. But it is Butterfly Boys by Cameron James. Again, this is one of my Kindle books. I don't know much about it. I know it's queer. So it's about Sam and Frankie. Sam is sporty and shy. Frankie is loud and boisterous. And then the only thing they don't want to admit they have in common is being in love. But there are some content warnings written on the Goodreads page. So the content warnings are alcohol, hospitalization, homophobia, transphobia, pregnancy, sex, injury. Wow, there's so many bad reviews. I don't know much about it. It's a really quick read and it's queer, so I'll get to it. I didn't realize it was so low of a rating. So that'll be interesting. But that is my Bookoplathon TBR, which not as scary as I thought it would be, so that's a good time. So next we have SeasonAthon Academy. So this is where you pick some subjects and pick books to fulfill those subjects. So the first subject is English 1010, and for that is to read anything you want. So for this, I decided to put on a reread that I am desperate to do. So that is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. This is my favourite book of all time. I read this every year, and I haven't started my reread yet for this year, so we're going to start it now. But I'm so excited to start my reread. I love this book so much. So this is about a boy named Ox, and he has daddy issues, so does everybody else in this book. There's a family that lives not too far away from him, and they're a little odd, and the youngest boy takes a liking to Ox, and they're like best buds, and then the family moves away, and then they come back a long time later, and things start happening. It's werewolves, everyone's queer, the most perfect found family ever, and it is heartbreaking but like heart mending and beautiful. It's so good. Everyone read it. It's amazing. Next class is Math 1010, and for that you have to add all of the numbers of your birthday and then keep doing that until you get a single number or something like that. Go watch the announcement video. It's explained much better than I could ever do it. But I did that a lot until I got the number 4. So the number 4 had to be the last number of a page count. And so for this I'm choosing Skin because that has 54 pages. And I really wanted something small for this, so I got that in there. And then for the historical understanding group of subjects you could do, I decided to pick History 2850, and the prompt for that is a Latinx author. So I'm going to choose Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, who is a Latinx author, and like I said, one of the characters is from the Dominican Republic. So then for the thoughts, values and beliefs list of classes that I could take, I decided to go with philosophy $23.50, and for that is to pick a book that's adapted. So I'm going with The Two Towers because greatest movies of all time. Peter Jackson is amazing. I'm going for that one. And then the last of the classes that I'm going to do is Foreign Languages, 10/20, and for that is to read a translated book. Luckily, all manga is translated from Japanese to English. Well, at least all of the manga that I'm reading is translated. So I'm going to put Soul Eater Volume 13 on that list. Okay, I'm really trying to rush through these because this is taking a really long time. So we have WaywardSonAthon, and there is the bingo board, and I'm just going to go for the middle 3 prompts. So for Charlie, her prompt is LGBTQIA+ rep, and for that I'm going to go with skin, because I've heard it's queer. Then for Ghost Faces, we have a friendship group. Now for this, I'm going to put on My Hero Academia Volume 5, which is on its way to me, but it just hasn't gotten here yet. And My Hero Academia is about a society of super powered people, and these kids are going to a special school to help them become heroes because that is the profession. And it has great friendship groups because the class of 1A, like, they bond. But then we have Bobby, and the prompt for Bobby is either found family or father figure. And you know what fits both of those? Soul Eater, Volume 13, because we have Lord Death, who is a literal father, but then is like takes under his wing all of the kids. And then we have Spirit, who is also a father, maybe not the best father figure, but you know, he's there. And then we have found family of the kids, and it's a good time. That is all I'm going to be doing for WaywardSonAthon. And then last up, we have Roll The Rainbowthon. So for Roll The Rainbowthon, I'm just going to be going with the colors, not any of the prompts. So for the first color, I am going with Afterlift by Jason Liu and Chip Zdarsky, which is like a Uber driver, but they pick up a demon. I don't know, it's a comic. It will be quick and it sounds fun, and colors. Then for the second color, we got Soul Eater again happening in because there's little bits of blue. Then for the third color, I'm going to choose Deathbed. Fourth color, I'm going to choose Creepy Cat because you can't see it very well, but there's ever so slightly that like light pink thing going on there. I'm going to choose that one. Then for color number 5, we have Clap When You Land, because of the yellow. Color number 6, we have Radio Silence. And then for color number 7, the reason I chose this particular edition of Lord of the Rings, for that red color. So that is all of the books I'm planning on reading this month. It's a lot. I'm surrounded by books, and I should hold it up, shouldn't I? Ooh, okay, here's all the books I'm planning to reading, plus Skin, Butterfly Boys, just the two of us. Potentially some more, I don't know, but these are all the books for September and all of the readathons I'm planning on doing. So thank you so much for watching. If you're participating in any of these readathons, let me know down below. Let me know what you're reading. I love readathons and I love seeing TBRs. They're a fun time. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.